Hello, it's Miss Sydney. I'm making my video today. I'm so excited to be doing this for y'all. I'm going to be talking today about pandemics and past pandemics that have happened, and maybe a little bit about currently, but let's just get right in. A pandemic is a global, widespread disease. Right now, COVID-19 is a global, widespread disease. It is everywhere in the world right now, which sucks. But I'm going to be talking about past pandemics, and there's going to be a few things in here that will help us get through this pandemic. So let's get right into it. Okay. So the very first documented pandemic that I could find on CDC, everything I talk about today is on CDC website. It was the 1918 pandemic of influenza. It was H1N1. Some people called it the Spanish flu. It had over 500 million people, which is 1/3 of the world that got infected with it. 50 million of that 1/3 died. They had no way to stop it. We did not know what the flu was back then. That was not a thing. We didn't know where it came from. We didn't know how it started. So it turned into a global pandemic, one of the biggest in the world. And everyone got put on quarantine in the world, kind of like we are now. The quarantine involved self-isolation, which is staying at your home, like we are all doing right now. Limitations on public gatherings. People didn't celebrate their birthdays at that time. People didn't celebrate holidays. They didn't celebrate anything at that time other than within their home. People weren't able to go out and celebrate and do things like that. There were people strongly enforcing washing your hands. There's a picture, which I will put here, that I found, where it's a sign saying, for a movie theater, saying that if you sneeze, if you cough, if you do anything like that in the movie theater, you will be kicked out of the movie theater, which is crazy. But they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to prevent it. Everyone was walking around wearing masks, and all at the same time as this, World War I was happening. If you don't know what World War I is, it was the very first World War. Obviously, it's World War I. And lots of people died during that war, but that was going on at the same time. So the world was in all sorts of shambles at this time. It was crazy. They did not have a vaccine until 1938. It had started kind of dying down before that. We kind of understood the pattern of the flu, how it rose in colder months, like the beginning of the school years, and it went from we learned how to handle it without a vaccine. We eventually did get a vaccine, and the first people to be vaccinated was the U.S. military. The flu vaccine was created by Jonas Salk, and they, oh, okay, hold on. I messed up. So, the vaccine for the flu was created in 1938. This vaccine was invented by Jonas Salk for the U.S. military, and it was for when we went into World War II. So soon after we had World War II, and to protect our soldiers from being in other countries, we gave them the flu vaccine. And after more studies, they found a influenza B or flu B. People now say there's a flu A and a flu B. Sometimes there might be a flu C. There's lots of different strands of the flu. But they found a influenza B, another strand of it. So they invented a bivalent, or a two-component shot, pretty much. Instead of having to get two shots, one for flu A and one for flu B, they just put it all into one and gave us the shot. The shot is 50% effective. It does very much help your immune system, recognize the flu and fight off the flu. But that's a talk for another week. I will get into vaccines another week. Where was I? Oh. So, after they did that, they were like, okay, cool, we've got the flu thing under control. The flu mutated. The flu does this all the time. We always have to come up with new vaccines for the flu. The point is there's always a vaccine for the flu. But the flu mutated, which mutated means changed. Think about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They changed from normal turtles to mutated turtles that could do ninja stuff. Like, super cool. But this isn't cool because it's a virus. So the doctors had to create a new vaccine. That pretty much went on. Obviously, the flu is still around. We talk about it every year. It happens every year at every school. There are schools that get shut down over it. There's lots of people that get sick from it. There are still people that die from it, but it is way more able to be controlled now, which is awesome. And with more studies on the flu, though, they found a bird in Africa that had flu A. So they figured out that we probably got the flu from birds eating like chickens and stuff, which chickens are vaccinated. All animals are vaccinated for flu and influenza and COVID and all of that. All animals that we eat should be vaccinated. But this was at a time where we didn't know, so we didn't have vaccines for our animals. So, yeah, so that's why that flu came about, was because someone ate an unvaccinated bird, and it just spread around the world and killed 50 million people. The next pandemic that happened was in 1957, early February. H2N2 fluenza, a brand new strand of flu. It was not H1N1, it was H2N2. It had mutated, it had come from something different. We didn't know, but it scared us. We called it the Asian flu because it originated in East Asia. It was first found in Singapore and Hong Kong, and it blew up there. It killed a lot of people there. And by the summer of 1957, it went from February to summer before it got to the United States, and the coastal lines started getting it really bad. They did not know how to handle it. It was a brand new flu. Our flu vaccines were not helping very much because it was H1N1 based, not H2N2 based. So we had to make a whole new vaccine, which was very easy because we already had the H1N1 vaccine. And by 1958, it was pretty much gone. It's very rare to see it even now, but it does still happen every now and then. This one was also originated from some bird. We're not sure what kind of bird, but it also originated from a bird. Someone ate a bird that was not vaccinated, and that's how it started. And the next one that happened was in 1968. The virus H3N2, once again an influenza type, a different strand, not an H1N1, not an H2N2, but an H3N. This virus was pretty easy to make a vaccine for because we already had H2N2 and H1N1, so it was pretty easy to figure out. This was one of these smaller pandemics that happened. There are so many hummingbirds, it makes me so happy. I love being outside. 1 million people worldwide died from this flu, and that's way less than the 50 million that died from the 1918 pandemic. But that's still a lot of people, and it was still devastating to the world, and it really scared us because there was a new flu, and it was keeping everybody on their toes. This flu is still around today, but like I said, we have vaccines for it. It helps protect us. Actually, I think the H1N1 strand of the flu has been eliminated. I don't think it's been around since 2010, which is awesome. It means we've killed it off. Everybody's vaccinated for it. Everyone is immune to it. Nobody gets sick from it anymore, which is great. But we do still have flus that happen from other things like H3N2. This one also is suspected to come from a bird of some sort. My dog's in the garden. All right, the next one happened in 2009, very, very recently. I remember when this happened, I was 10 at this time. A new H1N1 virus had emerged, and it came from swine or pigs. So there were pigs that were sick, that we just ate and we didn't know they were sick. and it made a lot of people get sick. The full name of this one, it's really long. We didn't want to call it H1N1 influenza because that had already been a thing, so we called it H1N1 PDM09. Very long, I know. So I'm just gonna call it the swine flu. The crazy thing about this one is it seemed that elderly people were not getting sick from it. It seemed that since they went through the 1918 pandemic with the original H1N1, they had some antibodies built up from it, which is awesome. So anyone 65 or older were not getting sick, but that meant anyone 65 or younger were getting sick from this, and it was really scary because we didn't know how to protect our children. I don't remember specifically going into a quarantine how we are now. It wasn't that big to go into quarantine, but it was really scary. We were really scared that it was going to turn into the new, biggest pandemic ever. But it was really small. Only 500,000 people worldwide died from it. We got it under control very, very quickly. And after this, in 2010, the H1N1 virus had been completely killed off. It was just gone. We didn't have it anymore, which is awesome. It's really cool to not have a virus to worry about. There's hummingbird skin, I love it. Now, the flu still happens. I said this earlier. We still get the flu. I don't think I've had the flu, but I get the flu shot. The flu shot does prevent some. It gets 50% chance. And shots are scary. I know shots are scary. I'm going to go into that on another day. We'll talk about shots and vaccines and stuff. I think next week I'll do that. And it's going to, the flu happens. Right now we are in a pandemic for COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-19 or 9, something like that. And it's not a strain of the flu. It is a COVID. It is a SARS. It is a pandemic, which is scary. But we're going to get out of it. We'll be okay. Ain't nothing to be scared about because you got videos. You've got your family. We got really cool stuff going on at home. I'm currently growing cactuses. I'll show y'all pictures of that later. I've got my dog, and I've got my whole family. I've got a pool, but it's too cold to swim, so I'm not gonna have a pool. I did want to show y'all an activity or a little science project that I'm gonna be showing every week that I do a video. There's going to be, how do I go about this? There's a science project I'm doing. It has 3 pieces of bread involved. My brother has helped me. I have a piece of bread that was not touched. I have a piece of bread that my brother touched all over. He doesn't wash his hands very often. It annoys me. But what can I do? I made him wash his hands for this, but before he washed his hand, he touched all over one. I made him to go wash his hand. He sang his ABCs. He washed them twice with 2 different kinds of soap, and then he came and touched another piece of bread. I put them all in Ziploc bags. A reminder, the control I picked up with a napkin. I did not touch it. It has not been touched by human hands. There should be no germs on it. Hi, Trigus. My dog is coming over to say hello. Hi, Betty. There are different types of viruses. There are 4 different virus shapes that there can be, and I will put pictures up here. There is a complex virus, which looks like a robot. It straight looks like a robot, which I think is kind of cool. There is a polyhedral virus, which kind of looks like the Epcot ball at Disney World. I think that one looks really cool as well. There is a helical, I think is how you pronounce it. It looks like a fuzzy Coke can. Or a Coke can that's got jelly beans on it or something. It's cool looking too. And an enveloped virus, which is what COVID-19 is. And it literally looks like a puffball. You know, the balls that's got not strings, but like rubber pieces coming off of it, and you can squeeze it and it lights up or something. It looks like one of those. My challenge for y'all is get a piece of paper and draw a picture of one of the viruses. Make it as crazy, as colorful as you want. You can name it some crazy name, but make a virus. Make a virus. It's gonna be cool, and I would love, parents, if you posted in the comments of this video. Hi, this is Trigger. This is my dog, Trigger. He likes kisses. He's very old. He's 15 years old. Post pictures of their drawings in the comments. I would love to see those. I love seeing the kids' art. I love seeing their creations that they come up with. It's my favorite thing. But that's all I have for today. Oh, I'll show y'all the bread. That's all I have for today, and I hope all of this ends soon so I can give all of y'all a very big hug, because I miss all of you kids. I miss my friends. I miss Miss Billy and Miss Reese and Miss Jana. Oh, I miss everybody. I miss them all. So, I hope y'all are staying safe and healthy and washing your hands and using that Germ-X and having a very good time learning from home. I cannot wait to see y'all again. Bye. Whoa! Ooh, that was scary. That scared me. I thought that was a big wasp. It was a hummingbird. That scared me. Okay.